Let me ask you a question that only the brave will truly answer. Who would you become if failure lost its grip on you? If fear no longer held the leash around your throat? Most men never find out. They live lives dictated not by what they desire, but by what they dread. And that is not living, that is slow suffocation. The greatest prison a man will ever live in is not constructed of concrete, steel, or iron bars. It is built in his mind. It is the invisible web of fear and failure that traps the weak-willed and the uninstructed. But I tell you, failure is never the end unless you choose to make it so. And fear, it is nothing but a state of mind, and you, my friend, were born with dominion over your mind. The first lesson I must deliver is this. There is no shame in failure. Failure, properly viewed, is simply feedback. It is nature's way of saying, not yet. Try again. Smarter this time. If you study the lives of the greatest men and women who ever lived, you will find not a single soul who succeeded without first enduring bitter setbacks. Edison failed more than 10,000 times before he brought forth the light. Was he a failure, or was he a man who refused to be unseated by temporary defeat? You must make a clear distinction between failure and defeat. Defeat is temporary. It is a pause, not a period. It is the universe asking you how badly you desire the object of your efforts. Failure is final only when you quit. But when you rise again after falling, failure transforms into wisdom, and wisdom, my dear friend, is the most precious of all wealth. The man who becomes unhookable from failure is the man who has learned to neutralize the sting of defeat with the fire of purpose. He views each setback as a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. And the man who becomes unhookable from fear is the one who recognizes that fear is a lie, whispered by ignorance. No child is born afraid. We learn fear from those who have surrendered to it. When fear knocks on the door of your mind, send faith to answer. When failure whispers, you are not enough, let your definiteness of purpose thunder back, I am more than enough, and I will not be denied. Faith and purpose are the twin forces that make a man unshakable. But to become unhookable, you must examine the hook itself. What is it that seizes you? It is not failure, it is the meaning you attach to it. It is not fear, it is the story you tell yourself about what might go wrong. Fear thrives on imagination, just as faith does. The same mental faculty that can paralyze you with doubt can liberate you with vision. Choose carefully how you use it. You cannot entertain two masters in your mind. Either fear rules you, or faith leads you. Either failure defines you, or purpose refines you. And you, as a being gifted with thought, must decide which voice you permit to reside in the palace of your mind. That decision is your birthright and your burden. Let me share a truth most men never hear. Most people are not held back by their circumstances. They are held back by their interpretations of those circumstances. A man born in poverty can rise to riches. A man who is laughed at can become a leader. But a man who believes he is a victim of fate will never rise, because he is chained not by life but by his thinking. Positive mental attitude is the secret passage through the valley of fear. With it, you look at obstacles as opportunities and problems as disguised blessings. You do not deny that trouble exists. You simply refuse to bow before it. You recognize that life is not happening to you but for you. Even your failures are a part of your growth. The fire refines the metal. When I wrote about the 12 great riches of life, I placed sound health, peace of mind, and freedom from fear at the top. Why? Because a man can have all the money in the world and yet be imprisoned by the torment of fear and the bitterness of regret. But a man with faith, peace, and courage is truly wealthy, no matter his bank account. To become unhookable from fear and failure, you must build a foundation that is deeper than emotion. Emotion is fickle. One moment you feel strong, the next you feel weak. But purpose? Purpose is eternal. It is not moved by mood or weather. It is a compass that points north, no matter how lost you feel. Do you know what separates the great from the ordinary? It is not talent, not intelligence, not even opportunity. It is resolve, a quiet, stubborn determination that says, I will not stop. Resolve is the armor that protects you from failure's sting and fear's venom. And the source of this resolve is definiteness of purpose, a burning obsession backed by faith. If you desire to become unhookable, do not merely read these words, live them. Do not merely admire great men, become one. Take inventory of your fears, write them down. Then stare them in the face and ask, what evidence do you have? You will find that most fears are phantoms, ghosts with no substance. The fear of criticism, the fear of poverty, the fear of old age, the fear of death, the fear of loss, these are the tools of the devil himself. And I say unto you, fear is the one enemy you must conquer before you can master life. For as long as fear controls your mind, your decisions will be weak, your efforts half-hearted, and your destiny unfulfilled. Now, let us address another great truth. Life does not give you what you want, it gives you what you are. If you are timid, life will not hand you bold outcomes. If you are faithless, life will not trust you with miracles. But if you rise with courage in your step and vision in your soul, life will open the gates of abundance and say, here is the reward of one who believed. The man who becomes unhookable does not wait for luck. He creates conditions for success through action, discipline, and unwavering faith. He knows that luck is the child of preparation and opportunity. And preparation, my friend, is within your control. Every minute you spend in worry is a minute stolen from preparation. Every hour you give to doubt is an hour robbed from progress. So you must decide who shall rule your world, fear or faith, failure or purpose. And remember, indecision is itself a decision to remain weak. And no man ever climbed to greatness by remaining in the valley of doubt. Do you see now why you must become unhookable? Because this world does not yield its riches to the timid. It reveals its treasures to those who press forward when others retreat. It rewards the man who falls, bleeds, cries, and still says, I shall not quit. That man, though bent, shall not be broken. That man, though wounded, shall not be wasted. That man, though tested, shall not be taken down by fear or failure, but shall rise. If I stood before you now, I would not offer you a map, I would offer you a mirror. For in that mirror, you will find your greatest enemy and your greatest ally. Your mind, rightly disciplined, is the key to all riches. But left undirected, it becomes the breeding ground for every fear and excuse. Direct your thoughts. Dominate your emotions. Shape your habits. That is the formula for an unhookable life. And never forget, your present circumstance is not your final destination unless you choose to remain there with a single decision, backed by persistent action. You can begin the transformation from doubt to dominion, from fear to faith, from failure to victory. The journey is internal before it is ever external. When the mind is cleansed of fear and disciplined by faith, there is no storm, no defeat, and no trial that can destroy you. You rise above the floodwaters, for you have discovered the invincible secret. You are the master of your fate, not by mere chance, but by the agency of your thoughts. And it is through this agency that you may now choose to be unhooked from all that once held you bound. The process begins with an inner oath, a solemn private commitment that you will no longer be the servant of reaction, but the architect of response. Failure will not define you. Fear will not direct you. You are not here to survive, you are here to triumph. There is no permanence in failure. It is only a lesson, one you must learn before you can rise to your next level of strength and influence. Look at your own past. Have you not survived every hardship, every misstep, and every moment of despair up until this very point? Then what evidence do you have that you cannot survive the next one? You are not weak. You were never weak. You are simply unaware of your own inner power. Man is not a victim unless he consents to it. And the man who consents to be ruled by fear or broken by failure is living beneath his rightful calling. There is something divine in you, something unstoppable, and until you believe this, you will live beneath your privilege. The moment you accept that all conditions are the result of causes within your control, your thoughts, your beliefs, your reactions, that is the moment you begin to walk out of bondage. You cease to beg for power and begin to command it. You no longer pray for miracles, you expect them. Not from arrogance, but from alignment with the eternal law of growth. This law, you see, is impartial. It plays no favorites. It will yield to you exactly what you demand of it, provided you back that demand with action and belief. That is the essence of personal initiative. That is the birthplace of greatness. But let me offer you a principle so few truly grasp. Most fears, like shadows, appear larger than they are. The closer you move toward them, the smaller they become. Fear is always exaggerated in the mind. The act of confronting it with boldness reduces it to its proper size. Action is the enemy of fear. Do not wait until you feel brave. Move while trembling. Speak while your voice shakes. Act while your knees knock. And you will find that courage was not the absence of fear, but the decision to do it anyway. To become unhookable, you must surround yourself with the right environment. A negative mental attitude is contagious. So too is a positive one. Choose your associations carefully. If you walk with those who speak only of limitation and lack, soon you will do the same. But if you link arms with those who see the seed of advantage in every adversity, then your mind will begin to flower in faith and strength. Your environment includes your own internal dialogue. What do you say to yourself when no one is listening? If you insult yourself, you program failure. If you doubt yourself, you create hesitation. But if you speak to yourself with power, certainty, and love, then your subconscious mind will begin to shape reality to match the image you hold. And that is no small truth. The subconscious mind accepts every instruction you give it, whether that instruction is constructive or destructive. It will build a palace or a prison, depending on the blueprints you hand it. Feed it fear, and it will produce failure. Feed it faith, and it will deliver fortune. This is why autosuggestion is one of the greatest tools at your disposal. By repeating statements of truth, strength, and vision, you rewrite the story your subconscious believes. And once belief shifts, behavior follows. Behavior then builds results. And results reinforce belief. This is the upward spiral of success. But understand, this is not a game for the impatient. To become unhookable is not to find a quick escape. It is to forge a new identity. You are building mental armor, and armor is not made in a moment. It is forged in fire, pounded by pressure, and strengthened with repetition. So when you fall again, and you will, remember this, falling is not the same as failing. Failing is final only when you refuse to rise. The man who becomes unhookable from fear and failure is the man who has decided in advance that nothing shall stop him, not once, not ever. He does not deny the pain. He does not pretend life is easy. He simply refuses to let difficulty dictate his destiny. He is driven not by comfort, but by calling. And it is that calling, his definiteness of purpose, that sustains him when all else appears to falter. Let me speak directly to your soul. You were not made for small things. You were not born to merely endure, to barely survive, or to tiptoe through life hoping to arrive safely at death. You were born to rise, born to build, born to lead. But before you can lead others, you must first lead yourself out of the prison of fear and the grave of failure. And that journey, while invisible to the world, is the greatest conquest you will ever undertake. For the man who masters himself has no enemies left to fear. What shall you do then? You will face your fear. You will name it. You will dissect it. You will strip it of its power by exposing it to truth. You will act before you are ready and learn as you go. You will fall and you will rise. And every time you rise, you will send a message to the universe: I cannot be broken. Your faith will become a fire. Your purpose will become a sword. And your mind, once tamed and trained, will become your greatest servant. But you must feed it daily. Starve your mind, and fear will return. Neglect your vision, and failure will reappear in your path. This is not a one-time act. It is a lifetime discipline. You are either strengthening or weakening your mental muscles each day. There is no neutral ground. So renew your mind each morning. Feed it truth. Affirm your worth. Visualize your victory. Act with urgency. Review your purpose. And guard your gates. Let no thought enter your mind that you would not allow to shape your future. For thoughts become things, and you are the thinker. Let the world say you cannot. Let the critics sneer. Let the odds appear impossible. But let none of that enter your soul. You are not moved by the winds of doubt. You are grounded in truth, anchored by belief, driven by destiny, and destined for victory. Do not look for shortcuts. Look for strength. Do not wish for ease. Wish for endurance. Do not pray to escape the fire. Pray to be forged in it. For it is only in the furnace of adversity that your true self is revealed. This is the path of the unhookable. Not the easy path, but the only path that leads to greatness. There is no lasting achievement without challenge. No mountain of greatness without a valley of fear to cross. You do not ascend in life by avoiding discomfort. You rise by embracing it, mastering it, and transforming it into fuel for advancement. The man who becomes unhookable is the one who sees pain not as punishment but as preparation. He interprets every delay as a design, every closed door a redirection, every defeat a divine nudge toward a greater triumph. This man who is immune to the sting of failure and deaf to the whispers of fear is not delusional. He is disciplined. His hope is not naive. It is grounded in laws that govern all progress. He knows that every seed must break before it blooms, and so too must the man who would grow beyond his present form. Do not be disheartened by those who misunderstand your journey. It is not theirs to understand. The crowd will always question the one who walks alone. But do not mistake solitude for isolation. The man who walks with purpose is never alone. He walks with power. And though he may be surrounded by silence, his footsteps echo in eternity. What you do today, how you think, what you allow, what you believe, will create the mold of your tomorrow. You are not waiting for change. You are becoming the change. You are not asking for rescue. You are remembering that the power to rescue yourself was there all along, buried beneath layers of hesitation and fear. And now that fear begins to crumble, because you have decided that you will no longer wait for the perfect moment. You will act even when uncertain. You will speak even when your voice shakes. You will rise even with trembling legs. For you have learned that motion dissolves fear, that forward action, even if clumsy, is better than waiting for conditions to be safe. If there is one lesson that must burn itself into your soul, let it be this: you must act. Faith without works is dead. Vision without effort is fantasy. Intention without execution is deception. You may know the law, you may believe in the law, but until you apply the law, it will not work for you. This is where the unhookable man separates himself from the masses. He does not merely read, he moves. He does not merely hope, he commits. And once committed, he does not negotiate with fear. He declares war on hesitation. He wages peace with purpose. He is at his core a man on fire. It is not luck that lifts him. It is law, not talent, but tenacity, not comfort, but commitment. And this law favors the one who refuses to quit. There will be days when the world does not see your effort. Let them be blind. There will be moments when the results do not yet reflect the sweat. Let the delay refine you. You are not here for applause. You are here for impact. And that impact will come not by accident, but by endurance. Understand this now: you are in training. Life is not punishing you, it is preparing you. You are being sculpted by the very things you wish to escape. The pressure you feel is not the sign of failure. It is the birth pang of potential. Let this truth sink in. Failure is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Fear is not your master. It is your signal to grow. Doubt is not the end. It is the beginning of deeper conviction. You are not being broken, you are being built. And when you understand that everything is working for you, even when it seems to be working against you, then you become dangerous, not to others, but to the limitations that once ruled you. You no longer run from pain. You mine it for wisdom. You no longer shrink before criticism. You grow stronger from the feedback. You do not crumble when faced with rejection. You refine your direction. You realize that the opinions of others are merely reflections of their own limits, and you are not here to live according to their limits. You are here to live according to your vision. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them misunderstand. You remain grounded. You remain focused. You remain firm in your purpose. It is your definiteness of purpose that becomes the compass in chaos. When storms rise, it centers you. When distractions shout, it quiets your soul. When temptation calls you to shrink, it anchors you to your calling. This definiteness must be written. It must be reviewed. It must be spoken aloud until your very bones know what you are here to do. Without it, you are at the mercy of every emotion. But with it, you are guided by mission, not mood. The man who is unhookable from fear and failure is not reckless. He is resolute. He does not chase approval. He creates results. He does not whine. He works. He does not wish. He wills. And his will is so strong, so disciplined, so charged with belief that mountains move in its presence. What does this mean for you? It means you must stop looking for easy. Stop begging for certainty. Stop waiting for permission. You must move now, as you are, with what you have, where you stand. And if you stumble, let the fall be forward. Let it teach you. Let it sharpen your vision. Let it drive you deeper into purpose. Because every man who ever built anything of meaning, every empire, every invention, every revolution, was first forged in fire. They were not born fearless. They became fearless. They were not born unhookable. They became unhookable. And so will you. The fear you once obeyed is now your servant. The failure you once feared is now your school. The chains that held you are now broken. The silence that once haunted you is now sacred. The doubts that once chased you are now behind you. And before you lies the life you were destined to live. Do not pause now. Do not turn back. Do not water down your fire to fit into a world that fears the flame. You are no longer of that world. You are rising. You are building. You are becoming. And the world, though it may not yet see it, will soon know that you were here, that you lived, that you overcame, that you stood when others fell, that you remained faithful when others fled, that you broke through when everything screamed for you to break down, that you, above all, became unhookable. And in that transformation, you found the greatest freedom a man can possess, not freedom from fear or failure, but the power to walk through both and emerge victorious. You are ready. The work is yours. The path is clear. Go forth and build the life no fear can steal and no failure can destroy.